One of our province's nicest stretches of highway takes you through the Humber Valley area, and that's where our journey takes us today. Our campsite for the night is in Blow Me Down, but before we get there we have to pass through Steadybrook. This area is the home of Marble Mountain and the many hiking trails and ATV trails around. We decided to take a quick walk to Steadybrook Falls to check out the view. As we carry on our journey through the valley on our way to Blow Me Down, you can get a good idea of why we think this is one of the most beautiful stretches of road in the province. Making our way down the south shore of the Bay of Islands, the fog begins to roll over the mountains, creating some spectacular views.
Rogers TV produces 100% local community programming. It's an exciting volunteer experience. We train hundreds of volunteers to work side by side with professional television producers. No experience required. If you'd like to volunteer, visit rogerstv.com.
There are so many beautiful communities along the Bay of Islands, and Frenchman's Cove is one of them. Not too far from Frenchman's Cove is York Harbour, and that's where we ran into Blake and Roy, who own this great little shop called The Roost.
The Roost is a gift shop, art gallery, and the inspiration for it came from, I'm a Newfoundlander who left to live in Ontario for a long time, came back home to retire, and we ran a small hobby farm in Ontario. We had chickens, so we've called it The Roost because I've come home to roost. The reason for the store is we feel it's very important to promote Newfoundland culture and Newfoundland craft. It's an industry that's very important to the economy of Newfoundland, and it's something that tourists come here looking for, and they also want to have an experience. So we do demonstrations of what we do. My wife makes lampwork beads. Blake is a really good hooker and has hooked a lot of the projects on the wall here.
That's a rug hooker.
And I also do rug hooking and keep the books for the store. So I was born in Grand Bank, and that's where we planned to go originally, but we met people from Lark Harbor, and I have friends here, and we liked it so much we bought a cabin here in 2007, and then in 2010 I brought Blake down to help me paint the cabin, and he decided
basically moved here.
He was coming with us.
I tell people I came here on vacation and I never left, which isn't quite the truth, but it's not far from it.
And then in 2013 we purchased a home and we purchased the store, and then the rest of this history. We've been here ever since. We came here with just the three of us, and we just opened the store, and a lady from down the road came and asked us if we'd take her quilting in on consignment, so we agreed. Within the next few weeks we had several people come. Today we have 30 local people who bring their work in for consignment, and so we have everything from painted salt shakers to woven shawls and other apparel. We have people from Lewisport, Lassie, and all along the North Shore and South Shore of the Bay of Islands.
I'd say the majority are the Bay of Islands.
Yes.
But basically, if it's homemade and if it's done here by a Newfoundlander or a local, then we're interested in it. So.
In addition to that, the three of us produce a product for the store, and we have 12 Newfoundland companies that we buy from. Boulder Books and some of the pewter jewelry and Labradorite jewelry and soap and things like that. There's still a lot of fishing done here. The economy really here is fishing and tourism, and the park is a big attraction for the people, and we've had a lot of people from Mount Pearl, St. John's area, and they love it here, and they've just discovered the Bay of Islands.
Yeah, that's true.
Most people usually end up going to Gross Moor, but this year they're doing a little bit more exploring, and our area is getting some notoriety, so that's good.
I'm more of the avid hiker. Roy does hike, but he's always busy in the store, and I take every excuse I can to get out. There's at least 8 trails, and I've done them all at least 4 or 5 times. Please go out and do them. They're awesome. Absolutely, strongly, you got to do it. From boardwalk to mountains.
There's a very short trail that's spectacular. They have it's a half a kilometer, and you see Cappermine Falls at the end of it, and they're, I would say, probably 100 feet tall. They're beautiful.
The Coppermine Falls Trail is one of our most popular trails. Even though it's one of our shortest trails, it's a short, easy trail, a few small staircases which takes you out to a very picturesque waterfall at the end, and a lot of people will go out there. In fact, it's I can remember a few years back, my wife and I were out there, and there was I'll say they were an older couple. He was 90, She was 92, and they would drive out there every week and take a walk along the trail out to the beautiful waterfall at the end. My name is Jeff Parker. I'm the chair of the Outer Bay of Islands Enhancement Committee, and I also mentioned I'm actually also the mayor of the town of Lark Harbour. With the Outer Bay of Islands Enhancement Committee, or OBIEC as we tend to shorten ourselves to sometimes, is we look after 7 trails in the area, ranging from boardwalk, nice boardwalk in a place called Bottle Cove, where we say it's the sunset capital of Western Newfoundland, and up to some pretty interesting trails, pretty strenuous, where you're heading up out to places like Little Port or climbing Cape Blow-Me-Down, which has a very good reputation for the wind around here, and so lots of different trails.
One of the trails we just had to check out was the James Cook Heritage Trail. It has 2 entrances, this one on dry land and another one you won't believe.
It's an interesting trail in that they've got a staircase built into the rocks, and it's fantastic views because on days you can climb that staircase, stand at the top of the staircase, look back down it, and the color of the water, it's so clear, and if you get the right sort of atmospheric conditions, it looks like you're in the Caribbean.
Good for us, right?
Rogers TV produces 100% local community programming. It's an exciting volunteer experience. We train hundreds of volunteers to work side by side with professional television producers. No experience required. If you'd like to volunteer, visit rogerstv.com.
Our next stop in the Bay of Islands is Bottle Cove. This beachy cove has some amazing views, both from the sandy beach area and from their amazing trail system. We start this hike on the boardwalk that runs along the beach.
We're very proud of our trails. It started off about 10-15 years ago with a group of people who cared about the area, which is what everybody does, and took it upon themselves to sort of convert some of the trails which the moose had been using for a while, and turned them into sort of hiking trails, and they've become exceptionally popular. We basically call this the area the hidden gem, because everybody comes to Western Newfoundland, they'll tend to head off towards Grosse Morne, and they'll miss out here down in the Bay of Islands, which is just spectacular scenery, and like I said, the hiking trails where you can get close to nature, and with fewer tourists, so you really get a great experience on your own. Hiking is one of the reasons that brought me to the area, because photography as well, so that you get hiking, photography, and I've just been introduced, even at my age of 60, to mountain biking, and so that's a new thing around here. But then you've also got a lot of the other attractions around here. There's a fantastic multi-purpose trail as well, which hike, mountain bike, ATV trails, and then come winter time, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, snowmobiling. It's a four-season sort of outdoor adventure in this place. We're getting a lot of people who live in the area or close by who are actually taking the effort to come out here. We're seeing a lot more people, locals on the trails this year than we have in many people. And we're seeing people from down on the East Coast and from the central region head out here because they know they've got the trails. And like I said, with the provincial park next door, where you can now is open for camping. It's a great place to, if you've got an RV or you like living under canvas, you can head out, stay there, and then enjoy the trails, because you can get 7 or 8 trails in. You can maybe do even 1 or 2 trails a day, and you could spend a week here doing all these wonderful trails. And so it is interesting to see that growth in people from the East Coast.
After finding our site and getting some wood ready for the night, we have some time to sit back and plan the next leg of our trip. But for that, you'll have to tune in next time to Staycation NL.
I grew up in Natty Bay, a little community 6 kilometers from here.
I grew up here.
In St. Lanier. We met in 65 and we got married in April of 66. First when we got married, we were married 2 years before electricity came here. Oh, we didn't have no fridges or anything then to put things in. We always bottled our jam and we always put pear wax on top to keep it from spoiling. You know, that would keep it from going bad on top. And that's how we did the bottling of that then, you know, until electricity came through. Both of us worked on the fish plant. First when we got married, we used to fish, right? Money wasn't very plentiful. You know, we was only getting small pay at our work.
See, back here you lived off the land. That's all we lived off land. There wasn't, you didn't have any money because you didn't need it. See, there was no light bills, no phone bills, no cars. So you didn't need money.
And we had all those stuff, you know, all of those things preserved, right? When you come home from work and that, you know, instead of come home cooking a meal, which days we didn't have time to do, we open up something, we probably open up a bottle of mousse or thing and put it on the stove and out of that make some gravy and boil a few potatoes and carrots and that, and there you ate your meal for supper. It was really important for the you know, for us family, right? Beets and the carrot and stuff like that, right? That all comes from our own garden.
We used to set potatoes, we'd kill up from the beach, and then when they came on land, we'd put a capelin on top. That was the fertilizer we used there.
We gave a lot of our stuff away to people who didn't have things. We would share our bottling and our veggies. Say if someone came in unexpected and you was after finishing your lunch or whatever, we had hours to eat. Well, they came in, you open up a bottle of caribou or rabbit and, you know, whatever, right? Moose or whatever they desire. We just do it out in quick meal, you know? We're going to start off by making some beets. We got 5 pounds of beets. First, they got to be boiled, and we just go by the tenderness. And then when they're done enough, we'll throw them in the sink there, and we'll just run some cold water over them. And as soon as the cold water is up, as soon as they're cold to the touch, we'll just take with our finger and thumb and just peel the beets like that. And now sometimes if you don't cook them enough, they won't peel like that. And then I'll cut them up. Some people want them very fancy, but I don't do that. I just cut them up chunks. And after I get them cut up, I'll do the juices, I'll say. The way I does mine, I use two vinegar, 2 sugar, and 2 water. That's cups. And I'll add allspice. That's what I put in mine, just allspice and salt. With the allspice, 2 teaspoons, and I'll taste it. If that's not enough, I'll add more. Right on. And then when we get that done, I'll bring it to a boil, and then I'll put the beets back in the pot, and I'll just let them come up to a boil, right? And then we'll put them in the bottle, and they're sealed. If that's not sealed, you know, that's going to spoil.
Oh, yeah.
Or see.
You got to make sure the bottle is sealed.
Yeah, because when you're doing it like that, on the bottles, when they're put in red hot like that, the bottle goes down, you know, the cover, lid will go down in the middle, right? And they'll click and you know it's down. But if that don't happen, the bottle's not sealed.
Might as well take them back.
We always leave it right there for a while. We know the lid don't go down. We'll open it up right away. You know, see, we want to put it back. So I don't like bottled beets. I like my home. I like the ones that I do myself. Yeah.
There's a lot of beets, so.
The following